Hey guys, alright, let's talk about these transponders. This is one of the Trackmate transponders. That's how big they are. They're pretty small actually. They essentially just plug in to anything up to 13 volts. They have a unique ID. This one happens to be 3404. And this is an IR LED, kind of like in the remote control that you have for your TV. And it flashes out this unique ID. So we have a race gate, and it has 180 degree coverage. So we need these to point out the left hand side of your quad. So if we're flying through the race gate, we can, as long as we're in this or any of this orientation here, we'll catch the sensor. Now, if for some reason you're coming through the gate upside down, well, then you're probably not going to get red. Basically, you need to mount this anywhere in your quad so that this LED is facing out the left. And whether you want to mount it on top, underneath the top plate somewhere in the back, underneath, it's up to you. It doesn't really matter as long as this LED is not obstructed by your motors, propellers, or anything, and is pointing out the left-hand side of your quad. So for me, I don't want to put one of these or buy one of these and put one of these on every quad. So I'm just going to make mine removable so that I can stick it on a race day with some double-sided tape, something like that, and then take it off when I'm done, or move it from one quad to another. So let's talk about powering these. They can take anywhere from about 4 volts to 13. I wouldn't run it on 4 volts. The minimum I would run it on is 5 volt. So you can get 5 volt from your PDB or from a BEC if you've got one of those still. Anywhere that you have good 5 volt power, whether from your flight controller, wherever. You can use that, or like I said, I want to make mine removable. So I'm going to just use, so it just comes with this standard servo end here, and I'm just putting in some little jumper wires, and I'm using the balance port on a battery here. And if you're not familiar with how this balance port works, the black is the ground, and then the first set of contacts over produces one cell worth of voltage, which is 4 volts. The next one over is 8, 12, and 16. So obviously we don't want to run this on 16 volts, and we don't want to run it on 4 volts. So I'm just going to take the negative, put it in the negative, and then I'm going to put this in the 12 volt, or in the hole where I got 12 volt. Now you'll notice there's that flash every X amount of seconds. I don't know how often that flashes, but that's just to let you know that it's powered. And I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but that is actually transmitting the unique ID. So that's how I'm going to do it, and then I'm just going to get all this and tape it to my quad. When I switch batteries, I just unplug this, plug it back in to the next one, and like I said, I'm just going to either tape it or stick it to the front of my quad. So really, that's all there is to it. Most people aren't going to have these jumper wires, but what I'm probably going to end up doing myself is just cutting this off and soldering on some header pins, kind of like, let's see, the ones that come with all the flight controllers. I'm just going to cut off 3 of these and solder the negative on one end and the positive on the other. And one thing you have to be careful of is make sure that you plug it in the right way into your balance plug. And you know, some of them are easily identifiable, like this one, black is the negative and the other ones are positive. But like the tattoo batteries, that's not really the case. You know, they all have one color other than the red. So you want to make sure you use your multimeter and test to make sure that you're using the 2 pins that will give you positive voltage. And you can run it on 8 volts or 12 volts. Just don't run it on 4 or 16. Alright guys, I figured I'd show you the actual, you know, like finished application of this. So what I've done is I chopped off the end like I said, and I took some of those header pins and just soldered the leads on there and heat shrunk them on. I noticed that there is a gap. That's 3 pins, but I pulled the center pin out. So that's what we're looking for. Your ground, the center pin is gone, and then the 3rd pin over is your positive, or you know, whichever way. There's basically a space in the middle. I'm going to be running, this will be getting 8 volts, and the reason I decided to go 8 volts rather than 12 is because if you have a high voltage, lithium high voltage, the 12 volt will be more like 13 volts, and I just don't want to run these quite at their upper limit. So 8 volts it is. So once again, find your negative on the balance plug, plug that in. That thing will start blinking right away to let you know that it's powered. Again, just to be clear, this little blue LED on the top is not what transmits your identification. It's this LED, the big one, that points off to the side. So it's not this blue one that you can see, it's this one that points off to the side. So make sure that that is facing to the left. And just if you happen to have a tattoo battery, the negative is on the side with all blacks, is the negative side that you want to plug this into. And again, we'll blink here in a second. So the way I'm going to actually run this on the quadcopter is I'm going to get a little piece of double-sided tape here, stick it on the back of this transmitter. See it? I just stuck it to the top plate of my quad, sticking out the left-hand side, and I'm just going to run this on top and plug this into the battery or the balance port. So there we have it. You can see it's facing out the left-hand side. It's powered off my balance port, and it's temporary. You know, I can pull this off when I'm done. So in essence, what I'll do is I'll just get this, stick it like that, and use some electrical tape or something else and just tape it down. Or if you want to just zip tie it onto the balance lead so that it doesn't get caught up in your props. But that's all there is to it. Really simple. Hope that helps. Thanks, guys.